My girl has what? Y'all don't know it. Well, I'm going to let it move on. It appears as though God is saying, just let's kiss and say goodbye. It appears as though God is saying, why does it hurt so bad? It appears as though for the young folk, God is saying it hurts like y'all take it from there. It appears as though there's a thin line between love and hate. So I'm confused about God loving Jacob, but on the other hand, hating Esau. Which makes me wonder, could God turn around and hate me like he hates Esau? I'm trying to unpack this thing for you. I'm going to say it one more time. Could it mean that God could turn around and hate me like he hates Esau? Y'all mighty quiet. I mean, I'm not perfect. There's nobody perfect except God. Can I just get a few people in here to admit to the fact that you're not perfect? There's nobody in here that's perfect. Can I make it real? I mean, I try to do good, but sometimes I mess up. I didn't plan to mess up, at least not that time. But to be honest, there's sometimes that I plan to mess up because I wanted to mess up. Because if I was truthful about the thing while I was doing it, it sure enough was good. Come on now, while you were doing what you knew you had no business doing, you felt good about it, didn't you? And you were not feeling guilty while you were doing it because it was so good. Come on, fess up. It wasn't until it was over. It wasn't until the feeling wore off that you started having this guilty complex. Is that right? And since it's good, since I often do what I do, does that mean that God hates me because I do more bad than I do good? Does it mean because of my nature and my natural tendencies that I have inherited, combined with what I like to do, that God would turn his back on me? I don't know about you, but I'm struggling. Not only with the cares of this world, but I'm struggling with this thing called salvation. Sometimes I just can't see my way clear. It's like having a nightmare. You ever had a nightmare and you tried to wake up and you couldn't wake up? Oh, y'all not in here. Is there anybody in here who can testify with me? It's a struggle trying to love you when you keep turning your back on me. It's a struggle trying to accept you saying, I'm sorry, and past history tells me you're going to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's a struggle. You said, I love him or her so much. I do so much for him or her, and just look how I'm being treated. It's a struggle. Church folk, they don't check on me, even though I must admit I'm not a friendly person. I changed my phone number and don't nobody know, but I expect somebody to find me. It's a struggle when somebody like that come up and talk to me. It's a struggle. I lost my job. Maybe I ought to go back to my old ways. You ever felt that way? I had more respect when I wasn't serving the Lord. I had more women. I had more men. I had more money. Is there anybody in here who understands what I'm talking about? Can anybody feel me right now? I tell you, it's a struggle. I try to run away from myself. You ever try to run away from yourself? Sometimes I try to run from these issues that I have, but I just stopped by here to tell you, stop running from your failures. Learn how to run to your failures. Because when you run to them, there's somebody who is able to keep you from falling. Run to your disappointments. Don't worry about evil, because listen to this. Evil will eventually run out. Oh, I almost said one again. I said evil will eventually run out. Oh, preach, Pastor Cox. I'm trying to answer my own question this morning. I said the very reason he's able to keep you from falling is because when I sin, it doesn't catch God off guard. That just flew over y'all head. Y'all gonna catch that next week. I said when I sin, it doesn't catch God off guard. In other words, when I make a mistake, it doesn't surprise God. When that habit or that urge causes me to slip, it doesn't shock God to the point where he has to do something different, make some other avenue, make a different arrangement. He's already prepared the way for me. Come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden in. I will give you rest. He's already fixed your habits, your finances, your sickness, your burdens, your marriages, your failures, your hurts, your disappointments, and your sorrows. He was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. He's already made the bridge for us. You don't catch God off guard. He's Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I wish somebody would help me preach this thing. The text says, Jacob I love, Esau I hate. Now, don't think that God's word has malfunctioned. Yeah. Whew. I said, don't be crazy and think that God's word has malfunctioned. You see, the problem goes back a long way from the very beginning. When the children of Israel left Egypt, listen at me good, lean up here, not all of the Israelites of the flesh were Israelites of the spirit. Ooh, let me click rewind. I said, not all of the Israelites of the flesh who left Egypt were Israelites of the spirit. I said when Israel left Egypt, not all Israelites of the flesh were Israelites of the spirit. Let me try it again. Not all members of the church are members of the spirit. Let me attempt to try to make it just one more time. Everybody who talks about heaven does not necessarily mean that they're heaven bound. Let me put it back to you, because y'all still haven't caught it yet. Just because you are a prospective candidate for heaven does not necessarily mean that you will graduate into heaven. Every student who starts out college or high school plans to graduate. But I'll tell you, there's some folk who never ever graduate, but they plan to graduate.